Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. This is the weekly Wednesday Wargaming questions and answers. It's an off-the-cuff video, guys. For everyone that's new, what does that mean? I record and I upload. There is no fancy editing skills at the beginning of the video. You won't see any, any sort of trickery or anything like that. I say trickery, I mean like camera skills and camera trickery and transitions and all that sort of stuff. There is a transition button, so if there's stuff that happens, I can stop filming and then carry on. Like if the brain's heavy or something like that, you can't hear what I'm saying. Essentially, these weekly Wednesdays are a Q&A. You guys ask me questions and I answer them. They are 99% model focused, and it is pretty much 99% to 100% pretty much GW stuff. There is a weekly vote where you guys vote, and on models I show you that you want me to paint for next Monday's painting video. And sometimes there's terrain questions that I throw into the mix rather than just do a terrain video on its own. Some information about myself and what's going on in the workshop, or that sort of stuff. So before we start, just to remind you, I'm still doing commission Let's Builds, painting and custom terrain pieces. Let me break them down for you. Let's Builds, if you haven't seen Let's Build video, go check them out because they're absolutely fantastic. Why would people want that service? Because they may not have the time, the space, or they might not feel confident with a particular model, or they could have little hands around the place, or they could have nosy cats, or stuff like that. Painting videos, again, go and check them out if you haven't seen them. I paint to battle ready standard, and then I go beyond battle ready standard. So you could have it as battle ready standard on the table, away it goes, play. Or you can take that battle ready standard and then start dry brushing and washing stuff and edge highlighting, all that lovely stuff. Or you can have it taken past battle ready standard. Again, why would you want that service? Because you may not have the time. Same reasons as commission Let's Builds. You might only have an hour a week, or say Sunday morning, to have a game. Do you paint or do you have a game? Just that kind of way. And custom terrain pieces, go check some terrain videos there, guys. I haven't done one for a while because the weather's not been my friend. And when I say that, if I use filler mix to fill gaps and everything else, well, the way the weather's been, it could be 3 or 4 days before it's dry, cured properly, so I can actually paint. And the base colour I put on could take another 3 or 4 days to dry. So that sort of annoyed me, and I fell behind on the last one I was building, and I've sort of abandoned that. I've still got the footage for it, and I still might do something with it, but I'm not sure yet. But with phase 2 well underway, and it's absolutely, I'm like a little kid in a candy store, an all-you-can-eat candy store, off you go, because, well, I'm going to show you something here. It's going to absolutely, I'm very happy with it. A lot of trial and error, but I'm happy with it. So I'm going to answer a few questions and show you a few bits and pieces, and then we'll do the vote. Well, you have some big build models you have built some big models over the past few weeks, with more still to do. Any plans on when you're doing the others? I haven't got plans to do the others just yet. I want them done, don't get me wrong, I do want them done. It's just time for me with full-time work, this, a 7-year-old, and trying to do stuff in the garden, trying to get this done and that done, stuff in the house. With the last 2 big builds that I did was Rogal Dawn. I did that an hour a day for over the course of like 4 days. And then I think it was the last day I was towards the end of it, and I got it finished. But with the Rogal Dawn in particular, I think that video is like an hour and 12 minutes, if I remember correctly. There's a lot of extras to put on that tank that I didn't put on there. So if I would have put those extras on there, you would have talked like 2-hour video and probably another 2 or 3 days for me. With Angron, again, he wasn't as, I don't know, he was still a difficult build here and there, but it was a case of like glue his wing on and finally get it on because it wouldn't hold. Finally get it to hold and have to leave it and come back to it. Now I got a sneaky feeling, for those of you who knew, I have Bellacore, Great Demons of Zench, which is, I love that model, Silent King. These are the 3 big builds I have left to do, big builds. There are a few big models here as well, but they are the ones that I'm looking at and going, ooh, that's going to take a bit of time. I don't want to be under the pressure where I'm trying to rush them. Now, if this channel was full-time, if I was doing this full-time, I would take one of those kits and probably have it done in 2 days because I'd have the time to do it. So there's no plan as such to get them done, but I do want them done. I mean, especially for like Demon Army. That's Great Demons of Zench, Bellacore. There's 2 fantastic models that can go onto the table. Either one of them. The Silent King, I don't need to say nothing about that because it's a fantastic model, and that would really turn the whole Necron army that I have around and just be like, wow, this is something hardcore to mess with now. I want them done, but I don't want to say, oh, I'll do them next week or the week up, because I don't know. But I do want to get them done. And they are going to be a very interesting build, I think. I'm still building the filament printer. I haven't done no work on it since the other day, since Monday when I showed you. I was off Sunday and I showed you Monday. The plan is to finish building the filament printer tomorrow because I'm off of work and little one's in school, so I should be uninterrupted. But that's still to be done. However, why I'm so chuffed and why I'm so happy with myself, I was having a problem with the Anycubic Photon Mono 4K. Yeah, that's what the printer is. I was having a problem with it, and the problem was the plate was coming down, and it was going to print, and then when I come back to it's finished, there's nothing there, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? And it dawned on me: the bed's flat and level. That's perfect. Just perfect level for it to print onto, but the table wasn't. The table was slightly crooked, so I got the old spirit level out, put it on top of the printer. It was slightly off, so I got a bit of card and put it under the leg of the printer, put the spirit level on top, perfectly level. So I said, okay, let's give it a go, because I actually cleaned the vat out underneath all the resin just to make sure there's nothing in there stopping it from sticking or all sorts of business. There was one print was all rolled up in the corner. It actually looked like, when you get a knife and run across the butter and it curls around, that's what it looked like in the corner under the resin, so I couldn't even see it. And then at the bottom of the vat is where the resin sits, where it prints from, before someone asked me that. At the bottom of it was the start of a print. So it started to print there, and because the table wasn't level, it couldn't connect to the plate. So the plate was coming down and just not properly. So I leveled all that off and it was all perfect. And then it printed. Absolutely fantastic. I love this print. It's absolutely, this is the test print. It says Anycubic Photon inside there. Absolutely. So that's for me. The next thing I need to do with that is download a few software onto the PC that I can run with that, so I can actually then start just do some mad prints and stuff like that. I have a 3D scanner that I can the 3D scanner connects to a laptop and you can scan something, or connect it to my Android phone and then use that to scan it, and what it does is it puts it onto the phone like a photo, and then upload that onto the PC, and then I've got my 3D image to mess around with. And something else, Alex is actually he knows about 3D printers. He doesn't have to put them together, but when it comes to the image on the computer, he knows how to do all of that. Okay, so that's a massive help. All those long hours of late nights of going to pick him up from when he was doing his course, it's going to pay off now. So I'm very happy with that, very happy with all of it. I will say this though, filament printer, I'm actually surprised I've got as far as I have with it without you know, losing my mind, because it's a difficult thing to put together. But I do some, take a bit of break and then do some more. But hopefully that is the one that's going to be, the 3D scanner is going to be used mostly for. I think actually pretty much always for. Because that's when I make terrain pieces, then again, this is going to entice me more to make terrain pieces. I can then 3D scan it and print it on there and offer it up for you guys, you know, sell for you guys. So I'm very, very happy and very pleased where I am so far. There's still more to do. And it's hard trying to juggle everything, and, you know, but that's just the way it is. I'm new to airbrushing. Any tips? I can't really give you any tips about airbrushing. The reason why is I've only just started getting back into the airbrush. The airbrush I had before was like a handheld one, and it was great and fantastic, but the power kept running out after a while. So you had to have it I had to have it plugged in. So when I wasn't spraying, it was charging the battery. Yeah, that kind of way. And I didn't really do many models. I sprayed the Rhino tank that was in the battle report. I think Dreadnought got a spray of it as well. And I think that was pretty much it, model-wise. I mainly used it when I was doing stuff with terrain. So there was bits that I missed with the underspray. I then came with a black spray and just in the airbrush and just coloured that in. When I'd done lava board, that's what I'd used. But this airbrush I absolutely love. I've got 20 Primaris assault intercessors that need to be undercoated. Once they're done, I'm going to get on the airbrush and just give them, you know, the Screaming Skull. That just tear through so quickly. But yeah, I can't really give you any tips. One thing, well, I can actually give you some tips, but I'm not the expert in the airbrush. Some of the tips I'll give you, and I say this before, you know, a few times, guys. When you're doing something new for the first time, try to get as much information out as possible, so then you can make your own mind up with stuff. Experiment with it, have a few test models, and just try different colours and different techniques, different things. The way that I use the airbrush is mainly as a base colouring to give me a nice, you know, I will start experimenting with light effects and stuff like that, especially with like the Silent King, Great Demon Zench, you know, Be'lakor, even Angron with his wings and stuff. That's, you know, that's one thing that I want the airbrush for. But yeah, hopefully that helps you, answers your question. Sorry I can't be more helpful with that, because I said I'm just getting back into using the airbrush myself. So I love the Malefic Blight Haulers painting video. When can we see him in the battle report? Now I don't really want to, I've got more Death Guard to do, but I don't really want to put them, I don't really want to have this month's battle report, March's battle report, as Death Guard. I'll tell you why. We had Chaos Space Marines, we had Demons, so I don't want to do another Death Guard, Lego Death Guard. The only other options for battle report would be Eldari, Tyranids, or even Necrons. And the reason I say Necrons is because, one, they haven't had a battle report for ages, and two, there's a good amount of new stuff that's been put together and painted ready for them. So Sisters are nowhere near ready. Admech I don't even have that much of. So, you know, it is, I want to use them, same as the World Eaters. I want to use them, but there's, you know, too many Chaos Space Marines and Demons. I mean, if you guys want to see Death Guard take on, you know, show Alex, this is what we're about, you know, just tuck on below and let me know, and then I will just go, okay. I'm trying my hardest to get them put together and everything else. Now, that's the questions I'm going to answer today. I'm going to bring down, show you the vote. There's no Space Marines in the vote this week. No Space Marines at all. Chaos Space Marines, but no normal Space Marines. Because for 3 weeks in a row, either by voting on, or they've been voted on and they won the dice roll, it's been Space Marine stuff. There was the Venerable Dreadnought, the Ancient with that banner, which, you know, absolutely fantastic. I actually shocked myself when I painted that, because I had the vision in my head the way I wanted it to work, but I wasn't expecting it to come out as nice as that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, guys. It was actually in the battle report as well, because Alex said I wanted to use that one. And then like this week's was this lovely lad. He's still on his painting stand. That's how busy I've been. And Alex likes the look of him as well. I haven't even told Alex his rules yet, but he likes the look of him, so he will probably be in Alex's team next time, I would imagine. But one thing I forgot to say about the battle report we did, we actually were using warlord traits and relics. I forgot to say that on the battle report, I think. And the other thing, which is actually a massive step forward, Alex picked his own army list. I didn't pick it for him. He picked his own army list, which is actually fantastic. Of course, he wants me to get more stuff painted, so then he can pick bigger armies. You know, which is nice. But anyway, I'm going to bring you down and show you the vote. Now, the rules of the vote are simple. You vote on as many ones as you want to get painted. But you have to have the votes into me by Friday midday, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, shall I say. Because then that's when I count the votes to see who's won and start filming that video. And then if the models need to be gravelled or primed, I can start doing that. Most of them need to be primed, because if I prime them, you can't really see them. Second. That's better. I forgot how that's on. Anyway, I'm going to bring you down and show you the vote. Again, there's no Space Marines in, only there's some unit Chaos Space Marines in there, but there's no Space Marines in the vote. Okay, so I'm going to bring you down and show you the vote. Before I do, this is that 3D print, any cubic photon. That's absolutely fantastic print. I'm actually delighted with that. Anyway, back to the vote. We have Hive Tyrant, Swarmlord. We have this Autarch. We have a unit of Horrors. We have Banshees. We have a Farseer. Unit of Chaos Space Marines. Chronomancer. A Lictor. We have the Kinetic Doomstalker, which is a big monster here. We have the Rogel Dawn Battle Tank. We have Angron himself, which I'm expecting people to throw a vote on him, because he's absolutely a fantastic model. We have 8-bound, a unit of 8-bound. We have a Giant. We have the Despoiler. There's a unit of Swooping Hawks there. We have the Catan Shard of the Void Dragon. We have Zodgod Wartsnager in the back there. We have Chaos Sorcerer and Mark of Noggle at the back. And we have an Engine Seer just hiding behind the Giant there with the big axe. I just realised I was trying to say you had to vote, and I was like waffling on about something else. So cast your vote. You want this, that, you don't have to vote for one thing. You can vote for 3 or 4 things. Do not say I vote on everything. Everything has to be built. Everything has to be painted. We all know that, but if you say I vote for everything, it won't count. Okay. Cast your comment below on this video, and that's how you cast your vote. 2 o'clock Friday, I'd have a look, and then just if there's more than one, if there's one model that's won the vote, that's what gets painted. If there's more than one model, we do a dice roll for it. And don't panic if you vote on something week after week and it doesn't win, because eventually it will, or eventually it gets to the point where it's been too long and I'll just paint it, do a sneaky painting video. Hopefully this week I hope to get a couple more, couple less builds done. I know tomorrow's Thursday and I've done no less builds this week. Now I know my promise at the beginning of the year was to do minimum of 1 less build, hopefully 2, and try and do an initial painting video. Now I haven't failed in that as such, considering it's Rogel Dawn I've built and Angron I've built. So, you know, bear with me, because I do want to get all of this done. But anyway guys, I'm waffling away now. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, because it costs you nothing to subscribe to the channel, but it helps the channel in a massive way. Turn your notifications on, okay, so you don't miss anything. For everyone else that's stuck with me this far and, you know, support the channel every week, week in, week out, look at all the videos that I put up, guys, a massive thank you to all of you, because you guys are just absolutely brilliant. Guys, so don't forget to vote. Any comments or any questions, chuck them below, or you can go on to Unique Wargaming Terrain Facebook page there's a message button there, and send me a message directly. It's not a problem. Guys, until next week, take it easy, and I'll see you then.